tick-tock, you don't stop. To the hard tick-tock, you don't stop. To the hard tick-tock, you don't stop. To the hard tick-tock.
All right, it's Bob and the Showgram, and our sex therapist here for today. And if you want to call us with a question, do it quickly. 855-SHOWGRAM, 1-855-SHOWGRAM.
Once again, Laurie Watson's appearance on Bob and the Showgram is for entertainment purposes only and not intended as a substitute for actual treatment. If you want to get in touch with her, she runs the Awakening Center. It's a practice center for intimacy and sexuality. Make sure you go to awakeningscenter.net, or you can find out all this information on bobandtheshowgram.com. She also blogs on Psychology Today, and it's kind of cool. A lot of topics that she's touched on recently are, and this is things that come up with everybody: honeymoon sex, sex at the in-laws' house, how temper affects sex and your mood, Facebook and how that affects your sex, shrinkage, holiday sex, and
shrinkage. Do we really have to bring that up?
She has sets up a lot of appointments, but she also offers Skype counseling sessions too. So if you have Skype on your computer, she could set that up for you as well.
All right, I have a question for you, Laurie. Here,
okay.
Let's say when you get married,
right?
The crazy things that happen when you get married, I won't say quickly dies, but over time. I mean, you don't want steak every day, you know.
Right.
But
some people do.
Maybe different kind of steak, you know. Depending, but you know what I'm saying is, in my opinion, if you want steak for 15 years and you want it every day, there's a different problem, you know. But so for me, so how do you make sure that you keep that? Because it's easy. Kids, work, money problems, family problems with the whatever. How do you keep that going? I mean, because it's not a hard thing. I mean, not an easy thing.
Right.
Well,
no
it is kind of hard, but.
Well, I think that there's a counter force. When we get married, we want to be loved. We know that. But as soon as we get married, we also want to be independent. And there's a psychological force that pushes actually us away from sex, because sex is merging and joining. And our psychology says, I want to be independent. And being sexual is really connected. And that gets a little scary. Yeah. I think to keep it going, I mean, you have to get through that. And that's a big problem. And that lasts about 15 years. So,
holy moly.
Yeah, I mean, just the psychology of merging with another person is really difficult. We get married in multiple ways.
Question.
Finances. Go ahead.
You said that lasts 15 years.
At least.
Is that 15 years after you've been married, or can you count the years you were together before that?
You know, there's something there's something that is really magical at the altar.
Yeah.
You know, it's an unveiling, and we see the other person for the first time almost of who they really are. And it can be scary. It's like, oh wow, all those things that we masked over because we were in love suddenly come glaring at us, and it's scary to see, oh, this person, do I really want to be with them? So, I mean, there is a psychological component to sex, but how do you keep it spiced up? I think that in part, scheduling sex is not a good idea. I think women should, in their own mind, schedule sex. They ought to think, you know what, Thursday is my day, and I'm going to initiate, and I'm going to approach him, but they shouldn't tell him. And they should do everything they need to do in order to get ready for it. They should take a nap. They should get time to themselves. They should hire a housekeeper. They should, get a babysitter and do all that stuff in their own minds, and then make it happen, rather than telling him, Thursday's our day. Yeah. She should say it in her own mind. That helps a woman, because women are like Porsches with broken starters. They work great when they get going, but the starter piece is often the piece that gets broke.
That's really
She equated it to a car. How cool is that?
And a Porsche.
Pound.
And a Porsche.
Pound.
There we go.
Very good.
And I have one quick question for you. We're talking to pudding therapist Laurie Watson, awakeningscenter.net. When Lindsay and I were pregnant, you always hear the rumor that woman gets crazy horny when she's pregnant. Well, Lindsay did have a heightened libido, but for some reason, mentally, almost the entire pregnancy, I had none. It had the opposite effect on me. Yeah. Is there some sort of psychological thing that I was experiencing?
Yeah, men are afraid they're going to hurt the baby. They also are afraid that their wife is becoming a mother. And that can be really, weird. It's like this woman who was my hottie and my sex partner suddenly is the mother of my children, and it, the old Hormadonna split. I mean, it really is. Men as well feel it. Like, oh, she's so maternal, and that can be, something to work through. So, yeah, a lot of men feel that. And a lot of women go through that, too. Oh, my gosh,
But is there therapy for that?
Yes. Yes, that's psychological therapy, honestly. Not just sex therapy.
Angela, hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
I am 38 and my husband is 42, and we've been married for 5 years. And in August, he got back from Afghanistan, and since then, we've had sex about 5 times, and it only lasts for maybe a minute or two. It's just he does not want it. I mean, our relationship is not that great, but he blames it on he had a broken back 2 years ago. And I'm wondering if that really can affect, his libido of not wanting, because, of his back pain or whatever. But it's getting to the point where I'm almost wanting to look outside the marriage because I feel so alone.
Yeah. You know what? I would have him checked out for post-traumatic stress syndrome before I would for sex problems, because the men that are returning from the war, they are so traumatized, and it impacts every aspect of their life, including this drive towards sex, which is really a drive toward life. And the depression and the things that they've seen, that's the bigger killer of sex drives for these returning soldiers.
God, that's sad.
Ricky, hi. Ricky.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Go.
Got a question pretty similar to the second question, I believe it was. I'm a man. I want it all. I want steak all the time. But my wife, she's into salads. So is there anything I could do to decrease my libido to accommodate her lack of not wanting steak all the time?
I have a question about this. When we were in college, I'm going to make sure that I have Ricky here. Ricky, don't hang up. Hang on with me. When we were in high school and college, as a guy, foreplay was really just kind of a problem. I mean, that was like what you had to do. You had to stop and fill up the gas tank, to be able to drive. But am I right, Ricky? Like when we were in high school and college, it was like the goal was just to do it, and we didn't care really what you had to do it, but really it was just, for us, it was like, eh. But as you get older, it seems like that is more important than ever. So as guys get older, we still try to live in the high school and college years. We talk about the things that we did in high school, that we did in college, or whatever case. Is that true, that it seems like there's a little more need to be a man instead of a boy, even though we still think we're teenagers, right? Right.
I would say that foreplay is probably important for women all the way through,
But as a guy, we didn't worry about that.
Right. And that's a problem, especially in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, I'm all about, trying to satisfy her. Foreplay I do that almost every time.
Good.
However, she does not return the favor at all. She's never done that.
Yeah, and she needs to. Women are really shy about go ahead and asserting themselves in bed a lot of times. I think men sometimes think, if I just knew the magic, all the touches that would make her turn on, then we'd have a lot of sex.
Maybe you could have a lesbian in there just for a day.
Just to show how things are done. Huh?
Yeah, isn't that kind of like a lot of women say that if they've ever been with another woman, they say a woman knows how to touch a woman as opposed to a guy who really it's like, all thumbs.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say thumbs, but hey, JR, real quick, last one. What's your question?
Oh, yes. I'm 30 years old, and it's been over a year since I've...
Pudding?
Yeah. And I was wondering if there's any way that you could prepare for that.
For yourself?
Yes, for myself.
Well, I think when you're preparing yourself on your own in your shower, you need to take a long time.
Hey, there's only so much hot water at the house, really? Come on.
No, really, that helps. Go slow.
And JR, women like the manscaping, just so you know.
Oh, you mean shaving down there and all?
Yeah.
Keep it. No, you don't have to shave, but just keep it tidy.
You don't have to put it in some type of shape or anything like.
Yeah, I don't have to put like an airport strip or anything.
Right.
No,
well, this summer, maybe make it look like a beach ball or something. Hello. Hello. Okay. All right. Bye. So there you go. Hey, those were really good answers, I think.
Okay, good.
Good questions.
Yeah, especially the one about the soldier who came back
Yeah,
and
that-
post-traumatic stress.
That wasn't
I mean,
sex.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
but there's a lot of mental when it comes to sexual activity.
Yeah.
Excuse me, pudding activity.
Pudding. Yes. You did great.
Okay, good.
You okay?
Yeah.
You're nervous. You were
Yes,
nervous.
I'm nervous.
That's okay.
I'm getting there.
What we have to do, Laurie, is calm down.
Oh, excuse me. Are you like her
Breathe.
radio therapist?
I'm the radio therapist. Just calm down. We're among friends. It's okay. We're going to help you through this. Breathe. We're going to help you through this.
I tell you what I got out of all this, that I can hire a housekeeper and tell Bart it's for more pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah, honey, if we get a housekeeper, I can give you more pudding.
That's right.
And I can take a shower for 2.5 hours.
I love what we all got out of this.
All right, make sure you go to bobandtheshowgram.com to find out all the information on Laurie Watson and also the Awakening Center, awakeningcenter.net.
There you go. Very good. All right, back after this, it's the Showgram. Hollywood headlines coming up.
For our 8 o'clock headlines, which pop stars are joining forces on a Japan